Greetings, greetings, greetings. TGIF, everyone. What is happening? What is going on? And how are you doing? Hope you guys are having a great start to your weekend. It's always a pleasure for Friday to come so you can relax, chill out, have a little wine. Welcome, Mr. DJ Music, Emmanuel, Vonda H, Vonda H, Vonda H. You know, we say it 3 times to make sure it sticks. Well, it's always a pleasure, as I said, to see you guys and welcome to the show. It would be great for a little participation to get the conversation going. You know, it's always good because we need you. That's just the bottom line. I mean, we have our opinions, but everyone has different experiences. And they also have thoughts. So let's see what happens tonight. I'm looking forward to it. Let's see what news I have for you. Prime, is it called? Let me look it up. Is it called Prime Day? Prime Day in the USA is July 12th and 13th. I don't know how excited you are about that. I'm not really that excited, probably because I don't have money, so that might be one reason. But I like to scan, look around, see what's happening. But in this particular case, there's a chance to get $10. Oh, yeah, $10 credit, and you have it for one entire year to use it. A lot of times they'll have a um, promotion and you have to use it within a small window of time. Not this one, not this at all. So I think this is great. Is sharing with the Prime members and is saying, hey, if you complete these things, that is, you can do. I mean, it's not asking for a lot. You will get $10 in credit that you have one great year to use. Yes. So let me see it. Let me post it in there. It will not because it has a long link. So I got to figure out how to get this to you. Let's see. What can I do here? Um, I don't know because I can't use the campaign right here. Let me see because this is mine. I can't give you my thing. Okay, well, let me explain it to you at least. You can go on your Amazon account and you can type in Prime Day. You can start there, um, and you may find the July 12th, 13th ad, and then they'll tell you about how you can collect 4 stamps and you'll earn $10 credit. And what those 4 stamps are, it's like you have to participate in order to earn the $10. They want you to borrow an ebook, which is totally free. They want you to play a song, which is totally free. They want you to watch um, any Prime movie or video, totally free. And they want you to make one $5 purchase with a Prime item between now and July 13th. So that isn't much to ask for, to ask you to spend $5. Pretty sure you need an extra cord, extra socket, some tape, something. Tape up that screen because the flies are flying in. Just a little small something. So you can't beat that with a stick. You know, you can't beat it with a stick. Greetings, greetings. How you doing, Real Deal Financial? Good to see you. And I hope you enjoyed your birthday weekend last week. Hope you had a little party. We had one for you. You weren't around. I know you were getting down and having fun. Hey, we're happy for you. But good to see you tonight. Thanks so much for tuning in. So do check out for the Prime deal. I also have, let's see what I got for you. Oh, now last week I had asked a question. I just needed to know, what's going on with these six-figure folk, because I need to know these things. I need to know. But first, what I will do is bring up our lovely and our wonderful classic Ruby. And we'll
Hey, Shar. Hey, guys. I'm back. I'm back. I know you missed me. You're like, I don't know if I could take another week without Ruby. Well, you don't have to because I'm back.
welcome back. And yes, you were missed. You are missed all the time. Yes. Mhm.
Oh, I thank you. It is lovely to be back. I've been excited all day. I'm like, you know, I mean, everything isn't fixed and perfect and great, but it's enough that, I could finally jump on. I was like, oh, thank God. I feel like things are finally getting back to normal. I'm excited. Then I saw the topic and I posted it on my community tab. I'm like, I can hear me disagreeing already. Oh, I'm so excited, guys. TGIF. It's going to be a good night. I can feel it in my bones. Yeah.
All right, that's a good thing. That is great. Well, last week, I was just a little concerned about, men helping men. I won't really say concern, but I have questions. That's just how I do it.
Mhm. Mhm.
And there's a GoFundMe that is, it might be 2 months old, but I know for what I've seen in the community tab, it's definitely a good 6 weeks old. Definitely.
Mm.
And when I read the GoFundMe, I'm like, oh, this is wonderful. This is the stuff they talk about in the space about helping young men and everything. And they fell behind, falling behind, and all of that. I'm like, oh, wow. This is something I can get behind. Let's see what's going on here. So I'm going
Mhm.
to read it, and then I'm going to make my announcement like I did, the week before, and see if anyone comes calling. I don't know, but we'll see.
All right.
All right, so this is Charles Faulkner Jr., and he writes here. Greetings, my name is Charles Faulkner Jr. I am a veteran of Operation Iraqi Freedom and a former police officer of the Baltimore Police Department. I recently started a security business, Black Lion Security Firm LLC. Now, I want to stop right there just to let you know that, yes, I did look it up. It does exist.
Okay.
He
Okay.
has paid an attorney and filed the paperwork. He just didn't make it up, copy and
Okay.
paste or anything like that. The man actually used some of his six-figure income and got his paperwork together. So I
Damn.
just wanted to, let you know that, so you don't have to worry about something happening and it be up on, GMT screen or anything like that. I just want to say,
Mm. Mm. Well,
just
you'd
want
hope so. He's a cop, right? I mean, I'm just saying. You'd hope
okay,
he'd follow the law.
okay, just
But,
want to put that out there.
mhm.
It says, I am looking to not only further my training in the security protection services, but also the training of young disenfranchised males who are looking for mentorship and job opportunities in the private security protection field. I need your help to reach newer, higher goals in this new venture. More training means more job opportunities, more mentorship for teens and young adults, especially in the urban community, and more hiring for qualified candidates and business growth with your investment into our community. Thank you for your support in advance. Now, I've also posted it on my community tab, and I am looking for those six-figure niggas. I'm still looking for them. So I think I better call them out now, just in case.
Well, girls.
Attention, attention, six-figure niggas, six-figure niggas, please report to Charles Faulkner Jr. GoFundMe. $1,700 has only been collected. The total sum should be 27,000. That is not much of a goal with all you six-figure niggas. That is all. Yeah, I just have to put the call out because I don't think they heard me before, so maybe this week. I'm hoping, not for certain, but I figured put the call out there, because I mean, $1,700 and the goal is 27,000. We're looking at Christmas 2023 at this point,
Mhm.
and in this space, and we've seen it many, many times before. The narrative is the black boys are behind. They're behind at the reading level. The mothers don't read to the boys, and all these different things. So you would think you have this gentleman that is following part of the initiative to create something to help said boys, that these six-figure Negroes would just be like, oh, right, let's help out. But I can't find them.
Good luck. All I would say is just don't hold your breath
Uh-huh.
waiting,
Uh-oh.
because you will die. Even if you like
Oh.
have some magical powers. Here's the problem, and it doesn't matter. The men can continue denying this until they're blue in the face and live in their little pretty island of denial where everything is because of the women, right? And then when you tell them, yeah, but here's the thing, y'all are mad at women for supporting initiatives for young girls for things that when they were little girls they were lacking, and so they want the next generation of girls to experience, right? And y'all sit there and talk about what y'all were lacking as young boys and what you need and what you want the next generation to have, right? But where is the problem? Because y'all keep saying the problem is women refuse to support those initiatives. No,
Yes.
the problem is that men refuse to support initiatives, period. For any
Mm-hmm.
children, it's not like they're supporting the initiatives for little girls either, but they're not supporting initiatives for little boys. They're not
Oh.
supporting the men who are trying to help the young men and young boys. So how
Mm-hmm.
can you blame the women? The women are supposed to support all of the children, and the men are supposed to kick back and you know reel in all their six-figure nigginess and just what glorying in it, and while the women help the next generation. Like, I don't understand. They don't take any accountability for the fact that they don't crack their wallets open and even drop like a little $5 or something. You know what I mean? It's just like, try.
Yeah.
Y'all didn't try. Come on now.
Hey, I'm with you on that. Now, to answer your question, Vonda, I always have questions, and I don't question those that give me the information a lot of times because it puts them on the spot. It can make me come off as being mean. So I just have the questions in the back of my head. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I may ask the question, but I'll let a whole long time go, like a year, 2 years, 3 years, before I would even bring the question up. So I just, like I said, I keep it in the back of my mind. But I was thinking that, do the mothers, do they decide, well, you know what, I'm not going to read to my son, but I'm going to read to my daughter? I thought about that. So I don't know, but that is a question that I have. And I may ask one day when I hear the narrative again. Maybe if this fund is ever funded, I may
Mm-hmm.
bring the question up. So look like it's going to be 2 years, you know. So
Ooh, child. I already asked this
yeah.
question. I asked these
Oh.
questions all the time when I first came in, when I rolled into BGS's channel,
Mm-hmm.
because the logic just didn't make sense to me. Like, I was like, no, there are just some parents just ain't shit, right? And so yeah, they don't read, they don't do this, they don't do that. But it's to the collective of children, right? It's not just to boys, it's to girls. It's just the difference is that girls and boys develop different skills at different ages, right? And for example, reading and writing and fine motor skills come to girls earlier and more easily. So without the hands-on effort from their parents, they're more likely to develop the skill anyway, right? Whereas in boys are actually more likely to struggle and to pick those skills up later. So it's not that the mothers are, you know, you know what, sons, sorry, I have no time for you. I'm reading to the girls, right? Like, they're not doing that, right? I mean, it happens in rare occasions. I'm not saying I've never ever seen it where the girls and boys were treated radically differently in a household, right? But in general, ain't shit people ain't shit, right? They don't
Yeah.
reserve their ain't shitness for one gender of child, right? They're just terrible parents in general. That's just what it is. Like, come on, it's
Okay.
ridiculous, ridiculous.
All right. Well, I'll make one more final attempt, and then I'll shut it down and we'll move on to the content tonight. Attention, attention, all six-figure niggas, please report to Charles Faulkner Jr. GoFundMe. You are needed. Thank you. So I don't
Girl.
know, but I tried. You can't say that a woman didn't try, you know, and hopefully I won't be called mammies and all those negative terms just for asking. That's all I could do is ask. You know.
True, true. I mean, hey, I, but I can't even with the men lately. I can't. Right? Because at least before, when they were all broke and they said they were all broke, right? And they admitted they were all broke and that women had more education and get better office jobs that are higher paying than the black man and da da da. So therefore black women just have more money and black men just don't got it like that. At least the narrative kind of all made sense, right? But now they all make six figures or higher. All of them. They all own everything. They all flex. They all have everything. They're way better off than women ever could be. Right? And they all have enough money and savings and whatever for them to last until the day they die and live wonderfully and comfortably and even retire early. All of them. So if that's the new narrative of what the collective of men are doing, well, then to me, just from their own logic from 5 years ago, that shifts all of that financial responsibility for both boys and girls actually onto the men, since
Hmm.
that was their reason for saying it was all on the women, right? So
Oh,
just saying.
okay. Well, all right. I've done my part. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
loudspeaker though.
Hey, they could. They may can't. Hear me. And they may not have heard Charles because Vonda had brought up a question. Said maybe people haven't heard about it. And I said, come on now. I said,
Mm-hmm.
think about Charles' character. He's very talkative. He's going to get on everybody's show. He's going to do some talking. So it's out there. The information is there. There's no way he's not going to get on your panel and not tell you about it.
Mm-hmm.
So the news is there. It's just that the support isn't. So I don't know.
True.
Um, I say Christmas 2023. You say never. Yeah, we'll see what happens. What comes first? But I'm going to put the pressure on, and I did mention that last week.
I mean,
I'm going to escalate it each week. I'm going to start tagging, but I got to find it first.
mm-hmm.
BGS created a list of who is officially manosphere. I just have to find the list,
Mm,
and all I need to do is tag 26 content creators,
mm-hmm.
and there you go. So let's see what happens after that. And you
True,
can't you
right?
can't ignore that. I mean, it's going to be right there. You're going to be tagged in it. So we'll see what happens.
I'm saying, I mean, there are some pretty big Black Manosphere content creators. They don't even have to necessarily donate themselves, just post it on their social media, the community post, put it at the end of some YouTube video or something. There's two Black Manosphere magazines, right? There's the Negro Manosphere and the Black Manosphere online. I mean, I just feel like there's enough other resources where if you cared, right? You would do a little charity work there. That's all I'm saying.
Oh well, hey, I'm going to see. Like I said, I'm going to increase the pressure and let's see what happens.
Don't, like I said, don't hold your breath, girl. I love you too much. I don't want you to die of suffocation.
Okay. All right. I'm definitely going to take your advice on that one. Okay. Now, this has been had circulated a couple of weeks ago. I am not familiar with either party, but I'm like, well, let's see. Still, I can find a teaching lesson here because the woman is a girlfriend. She is not a wife. So I'm like, okay. And I'll read the story and we'll talk about um, the rumor because from the understanding of the woman, Kayla Nicole, she says it's a rumor. She said it isn't true. But we're going to read and see what happens with what was alleged. We'll chat on that a little bit and then we'll get into, you know, our opinions.
All right.
Um, let's see. We could start off with, I think we can start off with a little Friday dance. I mean, I don't mind a little warm up, you know. Yeah, I feel like a nice little warm up. So let's warm it up, y'all. Here come a Friday dance, and then we'll get on into the show.
Mm.
Here we go.
Look at her. We gon' start this thing over. Groove all in the motherfucker now. Come on, come on. Do it, baby, do it, baby. Do it, baby, do it, baby. Do it, baby, do it, baby. I'm living my best life. I'm living my best life. Ain't going back and forth with you. I'm living my best life. Ain't going back and forth with you. I'm living my best life. Ain't going back and forth with
All right. Woo. Okay, I'm warmed up. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
ma'am.
Feeling good. Well, I can't lie, girl. I'm still stiff as sore. Y'all know what I've been trying to deal with, okay? Oh, but you know what? It's a little bit better. It's a little better. That crick in my neck is a little better. I feel good. I'm ready. Let's do this. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Now, like I said, I'm not familiar with these people, so understand the name Kayla Nicole. Travis, I understand his last name. I don't know, but I will try. That's all I can say. You know what I'm talking about. The man on the screen, that player that's on the screen. That's what I'm talking about.
Mhm. Mhm.
All right, let me pull up my page here and reading from this page, and it says, "Uh-oh, these darn ads." Kayla Nicole responds to absurd Travis Kelsey. I don't know what his name is. Breakup rumor. Okay, and scroll down. Are Travis Kelsey and Kayla Nicole still dating? That seems to be the question some fans are pondering, even after the Strong is Sexy founder shut down a recent report claiming she cut ties with the Chiefs tight end because he allegedly made her pay half of everything in their 5 year relationship. And then she says, not sure where all this nonsense comes from, but it's absurd and very false. Now, I'm going to say, when I had looked at this story, I did see some posts about it. I don't know who it was from. It was rumored that it was from a friend. I guess not a good friend if they're going to say that. And then maybe they were telling the truth. I don't know, but she's denying it. So I just want to get that straight.
So,
Okay.
did they actually? So, is it that they broke up? They really did break up, but people are saying that's the reason and that's not the reason? Or is it like they didn't break up at all?
Both are alleged,
Mm.
and she's denying and skipping over both. Well, not both. She's skipping over the rumors of the breakup.
Of the breakup period. Okay, got it.
Yeah. She denies the pay half and just kind of skipping over the breakup.
The breakup. Okay, okay.
Okay, let me see what it says here. And because there's several articles, and this one I'm reading from is from the, what is this from? This is the New York Post. Okay. It says the Savage X Fendi was ambassador was responding to a specific headline tweeted by Barstool Sports that read, Travis Kelsey girlfriend Kayla Nicole allegedly broke up with him because he kept making her pay half of everything in their 5 years they were dating. Kayla tweeted not did not confirm whether she and him broke up, which led fans in to inquire about the status of the relationship. She went on to like the few tweets about the false breakup rumors, but never divulged details about the situation. In March, Kels, Kayla, recalled meeting Kelsey for the first time when she took part in an Ask Me Anything on Instagram. Okay, let me scroll down. All these pictures. Okay. He had been following me on Insta flirting for a few months, Kayla, 30s, wrote when was asked how she met the 32-year-old Chiefs player. All double taps and no DM. So after a little liquid courage and a pep talk, I DM'd him on New Year's Day. Slid into the DM like it was third base. I don't know baseball, so not sure if that's the best analogy. Analogy, she says. She continued in a separate Instagram story. Lessons here is making the first move might be your best move, sis. Kayla since deleted an Instagram tribute to Kelsey. Oh, I wonder how you pronounce his name. I really wonder. Which she shared earlier this year after the Chiefs season ended in an AFC championship loss to the Bengals. Is that how you pronounce them? I don't know.
I don't know, but music says that it's pronounced Kelsey.
Oh, okay.
Kelsey.
Thank you so much. All right, Kelsey. All right. Go, Kelsey. It's your birthday. Go, Kelsey. That's a
Mhm.
nice name,
Mhm.
Kelsey and Kayla.
Yeah.
All right. Kelsey and Kayla first linked in 2017 and briefly split in the summer of 2020. The twosome reunited later that year and have been together ever since. Kayla has been a staple at Chiefs home games throughout her relationship with Kelsey, hanging out in the suites with fellow NFL WAGs, Brittany Matthew, I don't know who she is, the fiance of former Chiefs safety Teron Matthau. I think that's how you pronounce it. Okay, so that's one story, but again, like I said, she doesn't deny it. I mean, she doesn't confirm. She just
Mhm.
denied that the pay in half she didn't do. It was absurd, rather.
Mhm.
Let me see. Okay, that's the regular story.
I know it's just such a specific thing to lie about, you know? It just
Right,
it's just a really specific kind of lie. Like it's not even like something you hear all the time and there or whatever, something that was implied once. Like that really does seem like that's some insider information. And maybe she got a little drunk at the club and told some people some stuff she wasn't supposed to tell or so I don't know, but it seems pretty specific. I'm just saying.
right. That's why
Mhm.
I said, well, it was from a friend, but do you really call that person a friend? I don't know.
Mhm.
Now, here's another article with a little bit of more details of the alleged rumor.
Hmm.
Let's see, it says Barstool claims that they had spoken to a friend of Nicole's who explained that Travis is very cheap. In the beginning, he tried to make Kayla prove that she wasn't with him for the money. So she had him to pay half of everything, half on every date, every trip, everything. The report also states that Nicole only received $100 from Kelsey over the course of their relationship. Kelsey signed a $57 million deal with the Chiefs in 2020, making him one of the highest paid tight ends in the NFL,
Damn.
behind the San Francisco 49ers star George Kittle. Nicole and Kelsey first confirmed that they had begun dating back in May 2017. This isn't the first time that Kelsey had been accused of being cheap with his girlfriend during the course of their relationship. Back in 2021, fans came at the star pass catcher when Nicole spoke about shopping at Zara. And then she's quoted, "Me, my man, and my $50 Zara outfit on a yacht in Tahoe, sweetie," Nicole wrote at the time. "Y'all concern is beneath me." Okay,
Uh-huh.
and that is all. There was another article that disappeared or
Mm.
was erased, and I'm ticked off about it, and I'm not going to do about it.
Oh.
But that is what really made me want to talk about it because it's supposedly been more specific on how everything was paid. So whoever this person was that stated some stuff,
Mhm.
they gave a lot of details.
Mhm. See, well, and I think that it makes sense. And I mean, obviously, I have no idea who either of these people are. Just
Yeah,
keep it a
me
buck,
neither.
right? So I can't say, well, based on their history, because I don't know them. But I will say, based on my knowledge of dating, relationships, human psychology, like, you teach people how to treat you. So if you, first of all, as she said in one of the articles, she slid into his DMs, not the other way around.
Yep.
So, right? And this is, I know the guys aren't going to like this, right? But this is actually a major issue with you being the initiator, is that you basically, a little bit, you kind of devalue yourself to a man in a way, because men are hunters and they want to feel like they have to try to pursue you. They don't want to feel like you want them more than they want you, right? And that does affect their behavior. So that's the first thing I think of. But then I think of, well, cheapskate type guys are like that, where they're never going to be fronting all of the bills, period, especially not in a dating context. But the thing is, if you're dating for 5 years, right, the first year or so, you've established this is how you can treat me and it's okay, right? And nothing really changes that, right? Like, he's already established he's cheap. She's got to pay for half of everything, whatever. Now she's going to stick around, even though she's told him that's not what she really wants. Because, okay, we're just dating. And, if we were married, though, I'd want things to be different. And he's like, yeah, yeah, if we got more serious. And then they get more serious and nothing changes. And then they're getting closer to 5 years and nothing changes. And she realizes that no matter how long she sticks it out, she's already taught this guy that she has to pay 50% of everything, even though she makes 50K a year and he makes 3.5 billion, right? Like, she's already taught him that that dynamic is okay, and nothing is going to ever change that dynamic. She probably even tested it, you know didn't come up with the electric bill one month and he didn't pay it and let the electricity get cut off. Be like, yo, that's your bill, girl. Right? Like, that's probably really what happened. And at that point, she's like, oh, okay, we've established this. And I've told him this is okay with me. I've told him I'm willing to build a life under these circumstances, and I'm not. So I'm going to go. And he said, good, bye. Because some
Right.
chick is going to be willing to keep paying 50% of the bills if it means she gets to live in my mansion, with me, right? Like, I mean, I think that's really what it is. It makes a lot of sense to me that that's probably what happened. No offense to her, and they probably aren't together, and it's probably hurting her feelings. She doesn't want to announce it to the world because she thought if she left him, right? Because this is what people do all the time, right? I want a ring, I want this, I want that to change, and when it doesn't change, they leave. They give you some big ultimatum and they leave, and they're hoping the time apart you'll miss them and it will make you change your ways, and then beg for a second chance, and you're going to change up that thing they don't like. So I think that's why she doesn't want to necessarily admit to anything, because she's in that period where it's fresh and new, and she's still hoping that he's gonna realize the error of his ways and come to his senses and beg for her back, and then it'll never have to be in the media that they really, really broke up for any amount of time. It's just, they can just move on smoothly with their lives. She can get married. Maybe she has to sign a prenup, but he starts cracking open that wallet to pay the bills because he's the millionaire.
Well, I'm gonna say something real quick, and then we're gonna have Vonda to come in. I don't want her to wait too long.
Hey,
Greetings, Vonda.
hey, girl, hey.
Hey, Ruby. Hey, Shar.
Welcome,
Glad to have
welcome.
you back, Ruby.
Yes,
You
I'm
were
glad to be
dearly,
back.
dearly missed, young lady.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. I was like, they're probably having a great time without my big fat loud mouth. They're like, why is this so nice? Get my whole opinion out. I have so much time to talk.
Well,
No, we need to have, all different sides.
right.
And your
Hmm.
side is not congruent with the other sides, like me and Shar. Me and Shar are not even as congruent, you
Hmm.
know. So I
Mhm.
mean, it's good to have that break, and when it's just you and Shar, you guys are really, you're really doing your thing. So it's nice to have you back. So
Aw, thank
Yes.
you. It's nice to be back.
Now,
okay.
what I
Now
was going
with
to
this
mention
this
before I forget, if you don't
okay.
mind, let's see. Don't forget. I said I wasn't going to forget. Oh, this is with Don Teasy. So I said, remember Don Teasy, and I remember. Um, when it comes down to the chase part, I agree with you on that. I do agree. And you mentioned, um, I think you said a year. You said in a year or so, you're teaching him how to treat you.
Mhm.
Now, my opinion with that is from the start, you're teaching him how to treat you.
Mhm.
And that's when I had said, okay, if I'm going to remember what I was going to say, just remember Don Teasy. Now, you be quiet, Don Teasy, but then again, go ahead. Now, in the beginning, that's when you begin to teach them, in my opinion, right from the beginning. Yeah, I'm not
Mhm.
letting nothing slide because I don't want to give off anything different. If I
Mhm.
didn't like tomatoes on my hamburger the day I met you or the day you took me out, I'm not going to pretend and eat the tomato. And then 6 months come down the line, and I'm like, I really don't like tomatoes because he's like, well, she's been eating the tomatoes all the time. So I want everything. You're going to see everything up front. So I'm teaching
Mhm.
him about me from the beginning.
Mhm.
And then the second thing I was going to say, um, if you do that, then he sees everything. He gets a chance to decide if he's going to go or not. He's
Mhm.
like, oh, I don't really like this. I'm not into that. And the same with you because you'll see what his reaction is.
Mhm.
See there, it's done teasy. See, there you go.
Mhm.
Now, as far as with approach, I do find some guys are just nervous and you can see them. They look at you, they like you, they just don't know how to approach. That's when I said it's okay to approach, but you don't stalk them. You just make it a little easier for them to say something and then you let it go. You don't pursue them. You see him, like he looks over there at you, you see his head bobbing in between the people, and then you look up at him, then he kind of maybe look away, and then you look around, he look at you again. Then you accidentally, however you want to do it, bump into him or ask him a question, make him giggle, you giggle, and then you may sit next to him or go back to wherever you were, and maybe he'll open up. That's as far as I would go. But as far as pushing it any further than that, especially under the age of maybe the age of 40 and under, I wouldn't do it. That's as
Mhm.
far as I would go. Over 40, hey, how you doing? What's up?
Mm.
What you doing? I'll get a little bit more aggressive, but that's just my
Okay.
opinion.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
I hear
So
you.
thank you for letting me get that out so I wouldn't forget it. Go right
Mhm.
on ahead, Vonda. Go right on in there.
Okay, so with this situation, I agree with you, ladies. You do, show a man how to treat you. Now, when they began their relationship, you know, to be honest, unless it was dates, I mean, you know, she should come prepared, you know, with being able to carry herself and hold her own. And I'm sure, in the beginning, I would think, he was trying to impress her. And, when they went out on dates, I, I hope, he took her out on dates, you know? Um, but once they moved in, I don't know if the understanding was, okay, so, and I'm sure she didn't ask him, oh, hey, can I move in? Typically it's the man be like, oh, I want you to move in with me, because they want to be with you all the time.
Mhm.
So she decides to move in, but, did she ask those questions? Well, financially, what are you expecting of me, if I move into this, this big home with you or whatever? Because I'm sure before she met him, she was paying her bills, which she should have continued,
Mm-hmm.
as she dated him. She should be paying her own bills. You don't meet a man and then all of a sudden he takes over your bills. You pay your bills. But when it comes to cohabitation, she's already paying her bills over here. What is the incentive for you to get me to move in with you and we're not married? You know,
Mm,
so she moved in with him. They weren't married, and he's like, "Well, you come in here, you got to pay, half the bill." And she was okay with that. When was it ever going to get to be where he is supporting her? That situation would never happen. She never
mhm,
she never allowed for that to happen,
mhm. Well,
you know? I just like I said, I just think it's once you move in, then some ground rules have to be laid out. It's like, okay, you want me to move in with you. What are you expecting of me? If
mhm,
I move in, because I'm fine here in my condo. I can handle all of this. I'm not asking for any money, but if I leave this to come over here with you,
Mm-hmm.
what am what's the deal for her? I get to come over here and pay half of your bills over here. I could do that over here. I just might as well stay here. We can
right.
date and live in two separate places. There's
Mhm,
nothing wrong with that,
mhm.
you know?
Exactly. Exactly. Well, and that's my issue with a lot. I mean, a lot of the things that people say and the way that they differentiate, serious long-term relationships and marriage. And I'm not saying that marriage is not a deeper, more serious level, right? I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is I do think that it creates a problem that you cannot really undo very easily when you take some steps that are basically marriage, like, for example, moving in with each other. And then in that process, maybe for years, you establish um, something that wouldn't work for you if you were a family and a marriage. So, it's like, well, we're each going to pay our own bills. We do our own grocery shopping. We do our own laundry. We have separate bank accounts. We don't, and then maybe one joint bank account where we put in money because we're both paying 50-50 for the mortgage, or and it's just like, I don't know. To me, I'm like, your lives are still very separate, so you might as well just be roommates. And most people are not entirely happy with this arrangement. If you're married, they would want things to change. The problem is that, like I said, you've taught the other person how to treat you, how to see you, how to live life with you already. So now when you get married, you're like, well, but when we get married, that will change. But why? It's already
Right.
established, right? Like, everyone already has it. And the crazy thing is, the man is going to want certain things to change, right? Even though he doesn't want to change anything. And vice versa, the woman's going to want certain things to change, even though she doesn't want to change anything, right? Because everyone does that. And that's why I think it's crazy. I'm like, if you're going to do this long-term serious relationship commitment thing, and you guys are going to say, hey, let's practice marriage, because that's basically what you're doing when you decide to cohabitate, then you
Right.
should you should do it right. Like, seriously, fully invest 100% in that. I am mingling my life with this person thing. You should set it up in the way that if it's 20 years from now and you're married with 4 kids and whatever, that it would be set up very similar. That's what I think people should do. And I think that's people not doing that is why there's so many issues and so many divorces and whatnot. So I'm just saying.
Right. Welcome to the panel, Mela. We'll let her speak, and then I'll
Oh,
answer Dantese's question.
hey, Mella.
Hel- Hello,
Welcome.
loved ones. Hello.
Hi.
Long time, girl.
Yes, and it's a beautiful time to be together with you all. It
Mhm.
is.
Oh,
Mhm.
Mhm.
what you got
In
to
the
add?
interest, well, keeping in mind that I just tuned in, I got informed that boundaries need to be established um, by somebody before they cohabitate. Am I correct?
Well, these were our opinions, but to catch you up to date is it is rumored that this couple are no longer dating. It has not been, well, the woman will not confirm it, but there's also a rumor that she was made to pay half on everything while living with him. She has not confirmed or denied that. I mean, I'm sorry, I take that back. She has denied that by saying it's absurd.
Okay. Okay.
All
She's
right.
in denial of being in a compromising position. Okay.
Living with this guy, paying half of everything, but she won't confirm if she's broken up with this guy or not.
And she won't
Okay.
confirm if she did break up with him that that was the reason why, even though some friend of hers violated, the friendship, the sanctity of the friendship, and told on her and said, no, that's they broke up and here's why.
Right.
Allegedly.
Right.
Allegedly.
I I was mentioning in the chat room how men are hunters, right?
Hmm.
And keeping that in mind, they're not unfamiliar with the concept of setting a trap, which means what I'm saying is that it is their tendency to make somebody quote unquote prove themselves, right? Even though he may have been financially stable enough to, to support both of them, right? Hypothetically, okay, idealistically, he's in a situation where he's invited her into his realm and he is capable, more than capable, to financially support them both. But because he is a hunter, he's going to set a trap to quote unquote make her prove that she's worthy of being in his environment. And when she got wind of the fact that he was just testing her, she decided she was better than that and decided to leave. And it's up to him whether or not he actually wants her beyond a test.
Well, they were together for 5 years though. So
Yeah, obviously he's been testing her for 5 years. It doesn't take 5 years to know whether or not you want to commit to somebody. He is playing with her and she got tired of it and she's gone.
that's true. I mean, I will say I know this one couple. They're both like, well, one of them is like half Irish and half something white. I don't remember. And the girl's Italian. And they had been together since they were like teenagers in high school, like young teenagers, like 14 and 16 and 17 or something like that. And so by the time I met them, it was like almost 15 years later. And I remember them very clearly because I remember she said her man was cheap as hell. He was just a cheap, cheap dude. And it's not that he didn't make decent money and whatever, but it was like he was refusing to spend any of it. So like he was paying his mom a tiny bit of rent for them to rent out the basement apartment attached to his mom's house, and like he wouldn't eat out ever, wouldn't splurge on anything, right? And his reasoning was that he was saving so they could buy the house and the life of their dreams, and he wasn't willing to start spending money until he had enough money to do so, and
But
she just
here's
had to
the
accept
thing.
her man was cheap. But
Here's
hold on,
the thing.
hear me out, let me
Okay.
finish. Now, this was 15 years later. A year or two from when I met them, they got engaged. He bought her a $30,000 engagement ring. He bought her $1 million home. And now they're still together. It's been almost 25 years that they've been together. They had a beautiful, lavish wedding and honeymoon. They have their few kids who are very well taken care of with all of the. So he was cheap as hell, right? But he really did actually have an end goal in sight. And once he had actually reached where he wanted to be in financial freedom and security, he did start paying. So, I mean, some guys are cheap for reasons other than just testing, is my point.
Well, the informed consent is the name of it all because it sounds as if he informed her about the bottom line. He drew out a plan. He informed her of the plan, and she agreed to the plan. And that's
Mm-hmm.
why they're still together. But if he was just saying as an excuse for being cheap, well, I'm saving, and there is no evidence as to what plan is set forward, then that would be deceptive. So obviously he wasn't practicing deception, and they're happily married today. That's good.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. But I can't remember. Hold on. Shar, you're gonna have to remind me. In one of the articles, it said, and I don't remember if it was her, Kayla, who said it, or someone else said it, that at the beginning he had established the fact that he's very cheap, and so she was having to pay 50-50 for everything, and that's how he wanted things. So
That was rumored,
okay,
and but
okay.
it's also rumored that with previous girlfriends they call him cheap.
Mm-hmm. Right? So maybe he's just a cheap type. My uncle is just cheap. He's still cheap to this day. He is a cheap, cheap, cheap man. He just is. It's just what it is. There will never be, if he had $1 billion tomorrow, he would still be cheap as hell.
It's
Right? Like
about
some men are just like that.
it's
They're
yeah,
stingy.
it's about the plan behind the being cheap. Like if
Mhm.
you have a reason, like a an agreeable reason as to why I can co-sign with you being cheap. It's like, look, baby, in order for us to retire with $3.5 million, this is our budget for the next 5 years. Then we talking about something. But if you're just saying, no, I won't, uh, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that, or whatever someone would suggest because it costs money, and there's no explanation behind it. There's no scope of why a budget would exist, and we're just going off your whim of your, because it does come across as a mood swing thing if there's no explanation as to why a budget exists. If
Mm-hmm.
you get my
With,
drift.
with,
Mm-hmm.
with me, if we're meeting and it's, hey, what's your name? Um, um, what's his name? Kelsey. I'm Kelsey. Okay, you can call me Nicole. How you doing? What's up? Um, would you like to go out? Sure. Okay, we can go out next Tuesday if that's a good day for you, but I'm only paying for my meal. I'm not going to pay for yours. Well, you know what? I'm busy on Tuesday, so would you check your calendar and see what day you're available that you'll be able to pay the entire meal? Oh, I ain't going to be able to do that because, I don't, spend no money on a girl. Oh, well, that's fine then. Well, it was nice meeting you, and I hope things work out for you. Take care. Bye bye. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going any further with that dude. If
Right.
that's how it starts. Now, if I'm shocked on the date, if I'm going to go on an assumption, which assumption is not a good thing nowadays. You have to be clear because even with customer service, you don't even get that. You have to ask more questions and information they give you. I'm going to ask questions to find out. Are you going to take me out? Oh, what day is good? Okay, this day is good. Okay. I'm going to have my money ready. But I'm going to ask this guy, um, in a different way. Because this is how I did this one guy that wanted to take me out. He said, "Oh, I'm gonna take you to this nice restaurant." I said, "No, I don't want you to spend a lot of money. I know a place where we can this taco place that is really cool, and you like tacos because they have all kind of tacos. They have the steak, they have beef, chicken, pork." He said, "I don't eat pork." I said, "Okay, well they have all type of tacos, fish." And they're like $3 a piece. I said, I think we can eat pretty good for $25. Would you like to do that? And he's like, cool. So I got the impression that he was going to pay.
Mm-hmm.
But I still had my money with me anyway, just in case, because it was a
Mm-hmm.
first date. I didn't know.
Mm. Oh, I clarify up front because no, no, I'm sorry. I do not believe in if you invite me out on a date, then you're paying for it, right? But I actually don't believe in the opposite thing, which is why I also don't approach men or invite them on dates. Like I never did that because I don't believe that women pay for dates. I believe this is how I was raised that men pay for dates. Period. If you say something about me paying for my own food or my own meal or my own whatever, my own anything, as soon as you do that, it's a friendship thing, right? Or it's a coworker thing. Like, oh, okay, so let's invite the gang then. Yo, I will, trust me, I'll start inviting people at the office. Yo, Jen, you want to come too? Right? Oh yeah, we're all gonna go karting. No, trust me, that's not a date to me. And I'll make it very clear to you, it's not a date. If you want, and if that's your mindset, that's cool. But just understand that we're not on the same page. Like I immediately, as soon as you said that, I saw you as a friend forever. Like you were forever friend zoned in that moment when you said, "Hey, girl, I want to take you out on a date because I'd like to get to know you better. Hopefully, sleep
Hey,
with you
girl.
at least, whatever, right?" So what I want to do is I want you to spend your time, energy, effort, and money getting a new dress, new shoes, get your hair done, blah blah blah, looking all pretty, smelling good for me and stuff, so I could pick you up in a car, and then you go pay for your own meal, and hopefully I could I could hit that at the end of the night. Like, I'm thinking, you really looked at
Yeah.
me and thought that line of thought was acceptable. Are you out of your mind? You clearly don't mess with chicks like me. So obviously we just friends. It's cool.
Yeah,
Like,
that yeah,
sorry.
that is absurd. I actually informed my son the proper way to approach someone that you want to be more than a friend is announcing that it's not your intention to exploit. It's like, I want to be more than friends with you. I just don't want us to exploit one another. And the only way to guarantee that is if we take it slow. So we're going to go on some humble outing
Mm.
where it's not going to cost a whole lot of money, but we're just
Mhm.
sitting around getting to know each other better. And as time goes on, we will communicate when it's an appropriate date for you to spend something or for me to spend something. But keep in mind that if you invite me to something, then you got me covered. If I invite you to something, I got you covered. And that's how I explained it to him. I
Uh-huh.
agree with you, Ruby. Like, if you invite somebody somewhere, that means you got them covered. Okay.
Mhm.
And anything else is deceptive. So I just informed him about how to relax the circumstances of just letting a young lady he's interested in knowing that I want to be more than friends with you. And in the interest of not exploiting one another, we need to lay out what's agreeable between us. If I invite you to some place that is more expensive than what we're doing now, that means I got you. And and if you're interested in inviting me to think about going someplace, that's your idea. That means you got me. That's what I told
That is
I mean,
excellent.
yeah, I like that. I mean, that's still 50% not wouldn't work for me, right? Because even if I suggest somewhere I would like you to take me out, the point
you. That,
is
but
that
you
I'm
see,
suggesting somewhere that you're taking me
but
out. You know
but
what I
see,
mean?
that's the thing. That's the thing that opens the door for exploitation. Because if she says, I really want to go to Alina, and they got an opening for Friday. Can I make reservations? And that is unsolicited. That's an
Hmm.
unsolicited invitation for him to spend money on her that he hadn't planned. And that's not fair, in my humble opinion.
Well, see, it's perfectly fair to me though, because what I no, it is. I'm sorry.
No,
I
no,
don't
but
believe that women
hold
pay for
on, hold on.
dates.
On the
However,
other
hold on.
hand,
Let me.
if he says, look, I want to take you someplace. Do you have any place in mind? Then he's opening the door to cover her.
Nope,
So I'm not.
sorry. I'll let you know places I like to be taken to. I'm very picky with what I like to eat anyway, so I'm gonna let you know that in advance. And if I made the suggestion, and I even make the suggestion of the day I'd like to be taken out, that's not my invitation to pay for anything. Now, with that being said, though, right, the things that I do as a woman are going to be different than the things that generally the men that I've dated will do. They take me out. They might take me out to a restaurant or taking out go-karting or whatever. The things I tend to do for men tend to be at home. I'll tend to cook for them, and I'll cook them, oh, you love prime rib, and you'll tell me about stuff that you like eating, and I'll sit there and I will make you a 5-course meal at home. And then, or I know you really want to watch the boxing match with me or something, and I will sit there and I'll make 10 different types of wings and dipping sauces and whatever, and get you the craft beers you like and whatever. The thing is, so there is actually reciprocation on my side. It's not that I'm not willing to invest money, or in fact, if anything, I invest way more energy and effort oftentimes in preparing things myself. But I'm not paying for a date at a restaurant. I'm just not going to do it. It's just not, to me. That's
So
not
it's
the way
it's
things
the
work.
it's the restaurant thing, because groceries cost money as well. So
They
it's
do
just
exactly.
so if you buying prime rib at Whole Foods, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Let's say you buy a leg of lamb at Whole Foods and you plan on making boneless leg of lamb. You making kebabs. You doing the Mediterranean thing. That
Hmm.
costs a grip, right?
Yep, and it
Depending
takes
on how you
time. It takes time too. Hmm.
And then there's labor. There's the stress, the cortisol elevated, all types of stuff. So
Yes,
and we're
ma'am.
not going to forget about champagne, toast, and dessert. We're not going to, so that to me is extraordinarily more effort
It is.
involved
Yep.
than just going to a
Exactly.
restaurant. I agree with
Yeah.
that. What I'm saying is it just a restaurant
No, I
thing
don't pay for
with you,
dates.
or is it
No, yeah, I don't pay for dates. I pay.
coming to?
Hold on, I'll tell you.
But you pay
No,
if you buying
no,
groceries.
no. See, what I'm doing is I'm investing my labor, right? So I'm willing to put in that labor in the same way that I'm going to be willing to put in that labor in our relationship when we're in a long-term relationship, when we live together, when we're married. These are the things that I am not only willing to do, but I am joyful to do for my man. Right. And so I established from day one, everything that I do from day one are things that I am willing to do while I am married. And I don't do things I'm not willing to do. So I will take you out on your birthday because it's a special occasion. You know what I mean? So I'll set up a big thing, or you want to do the club thing, I'll get the booth. I'll do the whole nine because it's your special occasion. But it's just like, oh, it's date night. I don't pay for date night, but I'm gonna do something special for you for a date night. Okay, babe, you know what? Show up at my house. Make sure you looking cute and stuff. I got something special planned for you, and I'm gonna put in the labor. I'm gonna cook you something extra special. I'm gonna set up a cute little date at home and blah blah blah, or a little cute. I'm
Believe it
willing to do that, but I'm not willing to take you to a restaurant, to go karting, to the movies, and pay for it. I'm just not. So
Believe it or
I'm willing
not,
to do it.
guys think that getting their car detailed, smelling good, and looking fresh and clean, and having an outfit that's attractive to a woman is so-called an effort. They actually believe that. They think that going the extra effort to consider your femininity is an effort, because for the most part, masculine traits don't consist of being considerate. So, because they're logical and all this other kind of stuff. So they don't really, they have to make an effort. They really have to strain to wonder, okay, what is it that she thinks will be impressive? Like they have to actually think about that stuff. They have to. And so they believe that's effort enough. And I wanted to hear from the panel, including gentlemen that might be present, why is it that we should think because you need to consider what would impress a woman is worth us valuing? Like, why should we value that you've taken the time to think what a woman would appreciate? Why? Like, either you want me or you don't. And if you want me, you will consider what it is I consider valuable, and I'll reciprocate, you know?
Well, that sounds good. We can go into that. Got a few more things to discuss about this particular article. Chaos says that he may have it on his channel. I'm waiting for him to, get that together. But while he does that, I was going to say that if it was true, because again, this is all rumored, if it was true that she took the deal, there's no sense of complaining about it now because she accepted it. And I personally, I can't imagine accepting the deal in general, unless if I'm looking for a roommate, then
Mm-hmm.
that's fine. But the sex involved,
Nope.
well, now that is an issue because
Right.
you are just a roommate. I pay half on the rent, light, gas, telephone, all that stuff. What's the sexual part in? No, I'm dating someone else, just like sound like you dating someone else too, because that's the impression that he's given me. I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to
Right.
invest anything on you. I just want to cut half of my life expenses. So it sounds like a good deal for me. I'm gonna cut half on mine while I'm dating someone else and you're dating someone else.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
let's not take the psychotic um component off the table, that there are people that think just because you're in their presence, that means that you're willing to dance to their music, for lack of a better term. Like if she agreed to move in and she has to pay half the expenses, he's going to be offended, quote unquote, offended that she's not willing to give up the guts because his some psychotic men think, well, why are you here if you're not willing to give all of yourself to me?
Well,
You see
I
what I'm
mean,
saying?
but like logic dictates, right? And I think that a lot of times when men and women are talking about these discussions, like on both sides, we hear this, that they understand why it is that they want what they want, right? And they're like, because I mean, like with women, for example, we know, like, oh, well, if we don't think that that is attractive in a man, right? We don't think it's masculine, it makes us, you know, lose respect for him, whatever, right? Then we don't want to sleep with him, then we don't want him to be on his arm, then we'd be embarrassed to claim him in public, so we don't want to sleep with him, we don't want to be with him. And you know, I think men have those exact same factors that make him like look at her differently, not really want to claim her or do things for her or provide or protect for her. It's the same thing. It's like we have things that a person can do that makes us want to do for them more, right? Normally within our feminine or within our masculine, depending on what's natural for us. And either someone inspires us to want to do more or someone inspires us to want to do less. And we just
I,
have to recognize that it is what it is, you know?
I want to bring awareness to the fact that there are less than mentally well men out there that think because you smile at them, you owe them something. So I was wondering, how does that fit into this conversation? Because there is a possessive nature that men have, and I want women to understand
I don't think it fits
that
into this
those types of
conversation.
character.
Well,
Okay, thank God. Okay.
I do want to say something. And hey, Mela, I had stepped away for a minute, but
Hi.
I'm back. Hey,
All right.
Chaos. You know what, Mela and Ruby, I'm gonna say I agree with both you guys in that you guys are not necessarily agreeing with each other, but you know what? There is going to be a man that's going to take Ruby exactly how she is with those standards. And Mela, there would be a man that would take you exactly with those standards. And then vice versa, there would be men who wouldn't take either of you. If you ain't paying 50-50, I'm out of here. So you're dealing with, you know, different people and different strokes for different folks. And I think that this is a great discussion to be having because there are a lot of factors that go into that decision making,
Hmm.
you know, with regards to, you know, oh, do you move in with the guy and agree to pay half of the bills when you first move in? Or if you establish, no, what are we doing? Are you going to be paying everything? Because I can pay what I have over here. Why would I come over there to pay half over there? You know,
Hmm.
I'm fine where I'm,
Right.
you know, it's and it's just establishing what your rules are, what your standards are. And not
It's
every
real
man is going to
hard.
want to deal with your standards. Not every man's going
It's
to want to deal with your standards. And that's okay.
Do y'all want me to keep it
it's
real with y'all with this?
it's real difficult when he has a nice place compared to yours and you just want to hope it works out. That's difficult.
Well, you know what? Okay, I'm going to look at it like this. You know what? That could be very well true. But my thing is that there are different standards of living. And maybe if she lived in the projects, yeah, I'll come over there and pay 50-50. Yeah, I'm ready to get up out of here. But if she's staying in just like, let's say, a nice condo and he's in a mansion, I could turn down the mansion paying 50-50. I don't want to pay 50-50 over there. If I come over to a mansion, I would be expecting not to pay anything. You already hold down the mansion. You don't need my 50%.
But
And
he's
I'm
putting
not
you through
homeless
the
in need of a
test.
place to stay either. So
But
I'm
he's
fine where
putting
I'm
you
at.
through the qualifier test. And that's the catch up. Like, yeah, you living in a condo, fresh, clean, and too lean to be seen. And then he's got this damn baby mansion, and it's like, well, I always kind of did want to be in a mansion and host parties, and you start having these imaginations of what could be a better lifestyle day to day, and you agree to terms that are so unreasonable just because he has a better address than you. And that's a consideration. A lot of women fall into that because they got it going on where they at. It's just that he got something better, and you, not you, but a person starts thinking, all right, yeah, ain't nothing wrong with a better address, and they just get with it,
And see, I would agree with that, Mela. Like I say, if she was living in the projects, shootings and drugs being sold and prostitution and killings, be like, yeah, I do want to get out of this. But if where you're at is okay, how much are you willing to compromise yourself for, financial gain? And then it boils down to that. It's like you want to come over there and you want to
Let's not
lower
forget
your standards.
chaos. Let's not forget chaos.
Let me finish my point. Let me
Well,
just finish this.
attempting.
Let me
Yes,
just
ma'am.
finish this. But if you get over there and you say, okay, I want to get from over here and I want to go over there and I'm willing to lower my standards, who's really winning in that situation? So these are choices, and these are choices, that, women come up against. And if you make that choice to go over there, don't be all upset that he doesn't change, because he was like that when you moved in. You were paying 50-50 when you moved in. Don't get mad 5 years later if he's still, you still gonna pay 50-50. I'm not backing it down, because you already established it. Like Ruby said in the beginning.
That's true.
Well, and
She
I think
already established it.
people also need to have more consistent behavior and standards. So, for example, I'm more of a traditionalist, right? Which is why I'm willing to invest a lot of energy and effort, right, into preparing something at home and to being a homemaker in general. I mean, I'm willing to go to my man's house, when we're pretty new on it, like do his laundry and stuff. I'm a traditionalist though, right? And so my behavior, even from day one, is very in line with that. What I think is confusing to me are especially men who are traditionalists. They say they want a traditionally minded wife and a stay-at-home wife and they're against the modern woman and whatever, right? But then they say, well, they want 50-50, right? So a woman's got to pay 50%, right? And then what you're saying is, well, so she's going to pay 50% of everything. She has 50% of the load on her as well. But then what you want her to do is be wholly submissive and fall under your leadership and da 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 and all this stuff. And it's just like, dude, did you think that through? Like, half of the reason why a lot of women will buy their own houses and actually have a man even move in with them and they don't even care if that man pays any bills is for control and freedom. Because that's what it comes down to, right? Because a lot of the discussion, even when men say, right, you gotta pay to be the king or whatever the hell the saying is, but ultimately that's what it is. You pay money and that money gives you some control and some freedom to some extent. So if the expectation is that the load, 50% of the load is literally her responsibility, not like, hey, y'all have a joint bank account, y'all just pour all the money in there and that money just goes jointly towards taking care of the house and the bills and the vacation and whatever. It's just y'all are pooling your money. No. 50%. It's a 50-50 thing. How can you then turn around and have traditional expectations from that woman when you are putting her in essence in the same role as her, right? So I mean, exactly. So that's a big issue I have personally.
Well, see, there you go, sounding like that Kevin said type of stuff. That they said this, they said that. So you know what's about to happen. I'm just saying.
Oh
And
my.
As Kevin said, Kevin said.
We're gonna hear from Chaos after that.
Kevin said, and 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 Kevin. And what about Kevin? And Kevin doing good work. And Kevin, and Kevin, and Kevin, and Kevin, and Kevin, and Kevin.
Oh my God.
Shut up. Blah, 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 blah.
That's my favorite part.
You can't do good work.
I love that.
The whiny
All right.
baby. Okay.
Well, you know what? Oh, wait a minute. You know what? Before I even speak, Chaos, if you
It's
want
Chaos'
to speak,
turn.
you go right ahead.
Go ahead, Chaos, and thank you for the article. I'll read it after you. Go ahead.
You know that she is actually fucking this dude before they came to an arrangement. Yeah, are y'all aware of this, ladies? This lady that's been dating this dude for years now.
It's highly likely. Okay.
Yeah, very likely. And the reason I say is because, and I did a stream on personally called "If Is This Concubine." My thing is this, and they met and they've been dealing with each other for 5 years. So she was 25, probably 31 now, or 30 this year, depending. And he's now about to be 33 if he turned it right. This dude, like I said, how they met was during the DMs of the IG. And like anything, she looked at this dude, got to know a little more, and then in her back of mind said, hey, this is a catch. I gotta find some way to secure this. And as you know, the dude noticed and anticipate this. But the problem with enough ladies like her is that you gotta understand what is the real end game you want out of this. Are you looking for marriage or something more bigger? And that was not clearly laid out. If he's already sent the terms and conditions and telling you that you're gonna pay half of everything, including the part that they probably been cozy and having intercourse before, during that he said, now, okay, you can come live with me now and still continue paying half and half. Right there was no standard from the start. Because now we're stepping from this little small thing we have, this fun thing, to something a little bit more serious. And with something more serious, that means it's going to lead to some form of marriage. And you know, my thinking, because I always keep changing it for the last couple of years of how long a woman should be dealing with this before, you know, cutting ties. I'm very convinced now, personally, depending on the age, that if you're going to waste time with any dude, it's no more minimum 2 years. Especially if you feel that you're trying to get some out of this at the end of it. And clearly, because this man is Caucasian and is an athlete, she feels that it's worth the time to waste because she feels there's going to be something potential at the end of the road. Even to the point where she's not going to make too much broadcast because she wants the possibility of a long-term secured commitment, aka securing some form of bag with this millionaire, what do you call it, wide receiver or tight end, right? And as you know, this man is not giving her no serious long-term serious commitment. And how you know? Because he already set the terms and conditions right off the start. Even to the point where if you move in, that means you got to discard what you're doing for him just to get it, what I like to call, and I'm keeping raw because I'm with ladies, pocket pussy, while he still explores other women, which he is totally doing as well. So I tell ladies many times, if you're gonna entertain any man of any stature, especially man that is quote unquote what they want to call high value, you better let him set some terms of where it is going. Even to point set see marriage into it, because really truly I'm reading this and I'm thinking in my back of my mindset, and I want y'all ladies' perspective. If this was a black man in the same stature, you think a sister would go for this?
Anybody is, yeah, anybody's vulnerable.
And keep real with chaos now. Keep real with me now. Keep real with me.
No, we answered it. Yes, anybody's vulnerable
that's not
to deception because
like,
they don't
God,
know.
I can't believe she did that. A lot of women go 50-50.
Yeah, people don't know how to identify deception, and that's the problem. And hopefully, talks like this help women as well as men to identify deceptive offers. Like when someone is,
that sounds like more of an ultimatum than an offer to me.
Well, it's transaction. At the end of it all, it's transactional. And what he is doing and what she is doing is pretending like it wasn't a transactional situation. They were pretending like we're just gonna get to know each other better. No, that's not what it was. And they were pretending, or at least one of them were pretending like it was something other than transactional. And that's where.
Sorry, what was the transaction? What was the transaction?
I'm going to save you from your OnlyFans life, if you come get with me and just adhere to everything I tell you.
But the thing
he
is he
didn't. If
didn't
she was
save her.
paying 50-50, he didn't save her from anything.
Yeah,
She
for
still had the
5 years.
OnlyFans. She still had to
Right.
put it up.
Right. She had to
But
pay
Oh,
50% of the bills. He didn't give
but
her
she
more
has
than $100 in the whole
He
relationship.
didn't
So
retire
there
her.
was no transaction.
that's the transaction is the house. It's like you get to live someplace better than where you are now, and you just want to do what it is I
Nella,
tell you to
oh,
do.
what the
that is
hell?
just not doing it for me. I'm sorry. Like I said,
Hmm.
unless she lived in the projects,
He
Hmm.
introduced a transaction to her, and she fell for it.
well, I'm gonna say
I
this:
don't think so.
No.
I don't
if
think
she
so.
was in this for the long haul and she was trying to play the long game, she
Right.
And that
played the
was
wrong
her.
game. She played
And,
the
Hmm.
wrong
You
game.
lose. You lose playing that,
she,
especially a man that could pay for pretty much anything. A $3 million, and you tell me this is what you get out of a few years. First of all, it wouldn't go long for a year, especially
the
the
transaction part is
yeah.
that he said, in order to live here, you have to pay your way. And it wasn't reasonable under the conditions in which he is financially established. So she just fell into a trap.
It was reasonable to her because she took it. She should have just. You know what? I'm sorry.
So we just really not gonna call her stupid. That's what we gonna do.
Oh no, I say she played the wrong game. I totally
Um,
believe she played the wrong game.
I would say she's naive,
I
and
think if
normally
she thinks that she's going to get
okay.
marriage out of him at this point, it's never going to happen.
My,
It's
my,
never going to happen.
my thing is this. Yes, because now my people could say that she's at age now that she might not know better, possibly, but to me, how I look at it is if you're looking for something for long term and you're going on, let's say year 2, going on 3, and you're still remember what she make a year, 50K. That's how much she make, right?
I have no idea.
Yeah,
All right.
I
Well, let's say she don't make 6 figures. I'm thinking saying you're living with a man that makes you have to earn something out of him, and your time is very valuable as a woman. Now I know most people don't want to hear that, but it is very valuable, like anything else, like everybody's time. And if you feel just living in this nice little place, beautiful mansion, is the time spent for you, your youth and what you possibly bring, then you're gonna have to re-examine yourself, sweetie. You get me? Because I actually been seeing stories of any person, especially sisters, that said they have to pay what they say, everything to a man that already could pay for everything and is not taking this any further besides the bedroom, in my opinion. But that's me. Yeah, y'all could.
Well, I don't know what she wanted, what she expected. I can assume, but I personally see the signs that that wasn't going to go anywhere
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
because you taught him that you were willing to accept whatever it is that he offered.
Yeah.
And of
Right.
course, that is allegedly if the story is true. But I do have the article that you gave me, which is similar to what I've already read, but a little bit, just a little bit different. And I'll read that.
Okay. Good. Excellent. Excellent. Excellent.
All right. It says, according to a person close to Travis' former fiance, Kayla, she and the NFL star are officially over, and this time it is for good. And no, it doesn't have anything to do with Travis cheating. It
Oh
has
well.
everything to do with Travis cheaping. Kayla's girlfriend told Media Takeout that Travis is so cheap that during their entire relationship, which lasted more than 3 years, Travis, who is playing on a 4 year, $60 million contract, only gave Kayla $100. Yes, you read that right, $100. Kayla's friend explained Travis is very cheap. In the beginning, he tried to make Kayla prove that she wasn't with him for the money, so she had to pay half of everything. The tipster continued, half of every date, every trip, everything. The two split up last year amidst cheating rumors, and Travis promised that if Kayla took him back, he'd be different. But the friend explained Travis is still cheap. Maybe he's not cheating anymore, but he's not breaking bread like he needs to be. according to the friend, Kayla and Travis are no longer together. So
You
that's
know what?
what he
That,
gave
But
us.
see, my thing is they talking about this cheating, and I look at if there's nothing long term and it's that you and him has some agreement, he's gonna be exploring his options. I mean, because he already got the thing from you and it's making you pay.
chaos.
So
They've been together for 5 years. This there was some understanding. I'm sure, him putting his
I
penis
noticed.
in other women, she would probably have a problem with that, you know. But what
I
I
don't know.
find surprising or funny about the article is it wasn't because he cheated, it was because he was cheap, and he was cheap from day one. I mean, was it, the cheapness, that was like the candle or
The camel, that struck
the
back.
cherry on the ice cream cone. It's like, was that it? It's like, okay, that was it. That was the last straw. Oh, you're just gonna be cheap. He's always been cheap. He didn't just get cheap, in the last year. He was
Mm-hmm.
always cheap.
Mm-hmm.
So why is
But
that
you
such
know
a
what?
surprise?
I think here's the thing. And so yes, now I'm gonna say Kevin said, right? Because in this space, right, since we've been talking about the six-figure nigga and all that stuff, right, this is where the explore options came in. So what do they say though? The fair trade is this: he gets to explore his options. He doesn't have to be monogamous, but in return, you get the multi-million dollar lifestyle. Okay, multi-million dollar lifestyle is not you get to live in a mansion and pay half of the bills and half of the dates and half of the vacations. Okay, that's not the trade-off. The trade-off is if you want monogamy with someone, right? Then you get somebody who can only give you an average lifestyle at best, or who you have 50-50 with, right? But you get monogamy for that, or you get the multi-billion-dollar lifestyle. You get to live in the mansion. He pays for all of your needs. You get to go on lavish vacations, lavish dates, get to experience that life. But the trade-off is you turn a blind eye when he's running his way through all of the Dallas Cowboys
Right,
cheerleaders, right?
right.
Like, that's a trade-off. So he didn't play this game right, because that's not what you're supposed to do. So she probably thought initially she was getting the monogamy though, right? If she was getting the
Exactly.
monogamy, then it's like, all right, this is a fair trade-off. Then she found out
Exactly.
she's not getting the monogamy. That's why they broke up the first time. He said he was
Yes.
going to change, and she probably figured out that he didn't change the monogamy part, but he also didn't stop being such a cheapskate with this 50-50 nonsense. So then where's the trade? There's no benefit, right? If I go have kids now, how am I going to pay my 50% of the bills? And like, it's not going to work, right? So I think that's really what changed. She found
Yeah.
out she lost the monogamy. She never had the monogamy. That's what
Right.
it
Well,
is.
And you
be,
know what?
be,
And in that instant, Ruby, if she gonna go into this situation paying her own way, so she gets nothing out of that, and then on top of that, she has no monogamy. He's sticking his dingaling and other stuff. It's like she came up short. She came up short at the end of the 5 years. She didn't get no marriage. She didn't get monogamy. She didn't.
Mm-hmm.
What did she got? Oh, to get to say that she was with this guy that none of us ladies on this panel even knew who he was.
Right.
If
Plus,
he's
she
the
lost
famous one,
precious years. She lost precious years of
besides
her
the
youth and
divestors,
vitality, and when she would have been at her absolute prime as far as her available options for a husband. She lost all of those years as well, right? So you can't get those back. Now she's 5 years older. She has 5 years less fertility time, 5 years less youth and beauty. She has 5 years less as well,
actually
on
four
top
more
of the fact
years
that she never really 5 years less, because she's
because
been with him for 5 years.
yeah, but she probably 31. I'm gonna check her age when she was born.
It
I think
doesn't matter, because the point is she spent, as the point that I'm making is, she spent 5 years of her prime years invested into this man. Those are
right?
5 years she can't get back. Those are
A
5
woman's years
wasted
are
years
very
she can't get
important.
back.
A
Right.
woman's years are very, very important.
Very important,
Cannot
and
waste them.
you
but that
cannot waste them, and she didn't get anything for them.
but you see that's why I said Ruby that she invested so much time into this during her mid-20s, the hope that she's gonna bank in within the next 2 or 3 years. And knowing that it was keep going on after that, it comes to realization that she already knows that she's at that age, and thinks of Fix said, I need something more secure. And this dude, I bet you they had this conversation and say he's not going to give her that. That's why I think she decided, say, well, I'm going to show you to press you. So if I walk away, like y'all said earlier, he might come back and say, baby, don't go. Please don't leave me. He's not doing that shit.
No, he's
No,
not.
he did. He did do that though. Remember, that's what they literally said. When she
that he
left him
came
over the
back?
cheating, when she left him over the cheating, he begged for her to come back and promised he would change. So when they broke up last year over the
no.
cheating, he begged for her to come back and promised he would change. So she did actually walk away. And here's the thing. Sorry, she's young and beautiful. Okay. She
Yes.
knows. So therefore, the only reason why you stay in a situation like she did for 5 years is because you're actually in love and you
In
really
love.
do want to
Right.
spend the
You're
rest
in
of your life
love.
with that man. She
Mhm.
wanted that man. She was actually really investing in that man. This is not a paycheck situation. You don't sit there and pay 50% of your own damn bills and his bills and get nothing in return for 5 years because hopefully one day you might get a paycheck. Sorry, no woman does that. You don't have to. Right? Like it's just too lucrative out there to be young and beautiful. So no, the only reason why you would invest for 5 years like that is because you actually love this man. You want to be with him. You want to build something with him, and you thought, again, fine, I have to do this ridiculous 50-50 thing. I don't really want to do.
Well, like I said, it's one of y'all ladies. I wish there was some other fresh ladies. I would ask the same question and say, if this was another ethnic brother, will this person got away with this dude gay? You get me? And we had to be honest. Because yes, she invested because, like I said, the possibility of getting a bigger bag with this man and having some real serious life. But as you know, like I said, she been dealing with this year after year after year, even to the point where they say he's monogamous, which most athletes are not monogamous. Let's keep real. They're effing on the side. You get me? As you don't know about it unless somebody tells you. And then you leave and he said, please wait, don't come back. And you go back to him because you're hoping that you get some award at the end of it. That's what she's staying as she's tied into him. And that's
No,
where
that doesn't make any sense though.
that's where he said, I got you. Now I can keep
No,
stringing you along. And that's what we're seeing now. She's gonna keep stringing along with this. Go ahead.
Give me
but the reason
one.
why that doesn't make any sense is because, again, you don't have to waste 5 years of your prime years to get money from a dude because 5 years is a long time. So after the first couple of years, you get comfortable, you get lazy, you get careless. All she got to do is stop taking the birth control pill. Boom, paycheck for the rest of her life, whether he likes it or not, right? Because there's no prenup that says you don't have to give your kid a percentage of your income. So no, she wouldn't have to do that. You
So why
guys
she
keep
didn't do
talking.
that, Ruby?
You keep because she wasn't with him for the bag. It doesn't make sense that she would be with this particular guy in this circumstance for 5 years for the bag. It doesn't make any sense because you know what? She could get a bigger bag from a man who's worth at least 3 times more than this man is and not have to pay a damn bill of hers. And all she's got to do is pretend that she don't care about the money for less time than 5 years. No, that whole entire situation doesn't make sense. The only reason you would stay in this scenario is if you loved that man. If she loved that man, she was actually invested in that man. She wanted to
She
be with that
wanted
man for him.
she wanted that man. But give me 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
For the impersonator, I got something for you. You want something high value? I got something for you. I have a question for you with the answer.
What did the 5 fingers say to the face?
Drums, please.
And you're out of here.
What the hell's wrong with people impersonating? God damn.
There we go. Not anymore.
That's weird. Sorry about that, Celine. That's people are strange. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I don't know what to say either. But let's see. I think I'm missing something. I try to hold my place and not interrupt. Let me see. Jack Spade, you are funny. Something. Oh yeah, chaos. When we read this, your part of the article you gave me, it kind of answered some of those questions you asked, but we are doubling down on it doesn't matter what race. Um, a woman still can decide to do that, and I'm on. I'm leaning what Ruby is saying as far as she was in it for something totally different. It wasn't
Right.
for any financial gain because how am I paying half on a baby? I mean, come on, I'm only
Right.
paying half. I'm
Well,
not getting anything. So,
She's
mhm.
going in 50-50 with a dude who makes some, millions of dollars. So it's like and he's cheating on her.
Well, my,
Right.
my thing is this: you step into a situation that you're comfortable with and you're accepting, and I think it's hard for now to really bargain anything else out of this now because he's gonna keep doing what he's doing, unfortunately, and she's gonna be complicit and she's gonna stay if they're still in this relationship, which we don't know because we're just reading articles right now. Personally, I'll be surprised in the next 2 years that some happens and let's say she'll probably do something just to persuade him. And I'm not gonna say anything because I'm speculating, but we shall see. But overall, no person. If this is a learning lesson, and I said this personally on my show, that don't waste your time if unless you get some of it. If you're going to get something and you like it, so you're vibe and you like it, don't extend no further than 2 years. You get me? Because if this person really says if he will secure something from you, and if he's not fake on that, he just there just to string along to the ride until somebody else until he's ready and he just leave you and then gets what he wants. And we see this happen countless times, ladies. So I like seeing young women waste their time like this, but that's just me.
okay. Well, we did hear Kevin say it, and so we're gonna have to respond to that. So here you go.
All right.
Kevin said, and 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 Kevin. And what about Kevin? And Kevin doing good work. And Kevin, 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 and Kevin.
Shut up.
Because do good work. I'm never gonna get over that. It's just so funny to
I
me.
love that part.
It touches
Doing
my
good
soul.
work. He really took offense with that. He doing good work.
Good work. How dare you? Like I don't.
Like my work ain't good.
Mm-hmm.
I
Oh
own
damn.
these streets. Yeah. Let's see. Melon says she'll be back when she can. Let's see. What else did I miss? I don't know. Did I miss anything else? I think that's it. Now, let's see what I would like to mention. Um, Now, as far as moving into a little bit of a different area where Mello wanted to go, because we kind of, we touched this so we can do the last hour, well, 40 minutes or so
Mm-hmm.
of anything different. But there's, I've heard talk that women are not raised to be wives. Now, I didn't stick around, so I couldn't tell you. I think I saw some posts, might have heard something where I went to a content creator to say hello or something. I don't remember, but I remember hearing that. Now, is it possible that men have the finances to marry women? Because I'm not finding a lot getting married. In this particular case, this guy does have the finances, but I don't think he was ready. He's wanted to get out there and explore and date until he was ready to settle down. So I get that. Nothing wrong with that.
Well, I mean, he has Travis Kelsey has. I'm looking at it right now. Has an estimated net worth of
Mm.
$12 million. After spending 9 years in the NFL, and yet he has earned
Oh,
$150 million from his NFL contracts alone. So he's obviously not great with money. I mean, obviously, it's not like he's doing wonderful things with his money, investing, making it grow, and whatever. His net worth is only 12 million, and he made 150 million
hmm.
in nine
For for,
years.
for,
So,
for, for his career, for his career,
yep, from his
Oh,
yeah, he's
contracts
not good with
alone,
money. That,
just from
that,
his
that that's
contract.
that's
That doesn't
that.
include any type of advertisements, any of those extra things. Just from his contracts, he's made 150 million, and yet his total net worth is only 12 million. So,
Yeah, he's not good with his money. That's a red flag. I mean, it's by the time he's finished, and he will be finished next 3-4 years, he's gonna probably be broke in 5 years. I
Probably.
I know, I guarantee. A lot of athletes have shown throughout the data, and from what we're hearing now, after their career's done, if they're not really investing their money properly, or they're getting scammed by their agents and stuff, they will go broke. This is a guarantee now.
But it's like at this point, a lot of players get scammed by their agents. Can they like wise up on the agents? It's like,
No,
like a
no.
lot of them, they get built
You know
built
why?
out of millions of dollars by their agents.
You know
That's
why?
terrible.
Because they get them young. They got nobody in the family that they could trust with the money, or someone that's in school. They have to hire somebody that's mostly non-black to run their finance, everything, and they be charge them through the ringer with all these.
Sound like a 360 deal to me.
It is.
The NFL ain't no different than the rap industry, and the music industry with them
But
350 deals.
no, here's the thing though. No. So this guy, okay, in his rookie year, he actually almost damn near was bankrupt. And that was mostly about him wasting his own money.
Oh, wow.
And lavish expenditures. And now apparently he speaks to the young bucks coming into the NFL about finding financial advisors and so on and so forth. I want y'all to understand something. With the contract that he signed in 2020, he currently earns 14 million per season on average since 2020. The fact that his current net worth is only 12 million when his contract from 2020 alone has been making him make over 12 million a year, right? Over 12 million a season is he is the person who's wasting his money. We can't he's not a rookie anymore. He's 9 years in. He supposedly made mistakes and whatever. It's like, no, he's still making those mistakes. It's very obvious. Just if you just look at the finances, there's no way, unless you were
Well, he
being
doesn't sound
horribly
cheap, then.
ridiculous.
He doesn't sound cheap. He
No.
sounds, like he is very bad with money. He's
Yes.
not cheap. He's just bad
Yeah.
with money.
Yeah.
I tell Kate, what her name's Kate something, Kate Lane Nicole. I think she better start exiting stage left as soon as possible.
You know what, Chaos? I think she's fine. I think this was a learning experience for her. Thank God there was no child involved, and it was only 5 years. She's young enough and still well put together to move on with her life and find a man and be happy. This doesn't have to be the end all to be all relationship.
If she moves with a purpose around the hood, yeah, she'll be fine.
Well,
But if
yeah.
she's moving like she is now, with
How
how
is she
this,
moving? How is she moving?
I'm just saying, if when you've been when she's gone through this for now 5 years, this should be a great learning experience. That the next way she's going into, it better be something that you look for long term. It should not be something that like you did before. Like,
Well,
have
this
you
was the
learned?
learning part for her. She thought this was. I'm sure she thought that was. But you know what? I think she played the wrong game. I think she went into it wrong. But maybe there was no one there to tell her. And a lot of times
Where's her mother, her parents in this? I'm surprised her mom didn't really step in after.
I don't know. I mean,
I don't know.
she's over 20. She's a grown girl. And even if her parents are not involved, she's got to learn from this. It has nothing to do with her parents at this point.
But this is
She's got to
you could
learn, or
always talk to.
she's gonna bump her head again.
I mean, I understand bumping the head, but there's always someone that you could trust to talk to. You know what I'm saying? Who's her friends? Who's her circle she's with? You know what I'm saying? There's got to be somebody that she could talk to, counsel something. Because like most young people that age, it's good to bump your head, but the journey would have been less if you had somebody you could trust. Now,
That
if
too.
if you're having a good relationship with your mother, I might understand that. But still, it wouldn't hurt, especially if you have no other friend there has to be somebody that will give it to you straight. And I think most people that if we're gonna go through this stage of life, we gotta have somebody that could be straight with us, no chaser. Because we need that.
That's true. I think everybody needs that.
But everybody needs that.
But what I would like to do is I'd like to answer Char's question of, about women being raised to be wives. And you know what, Char, I don't think that, girls are raised to be wives. Just like I don't think boys are raised to be husbands. So why would you raise girls to be wives when the men are not being raised to be husbands? So now you have a generation coming out that they don't even want to marry,
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And I
Yep,
I
yep,
can't I
yep,
can't
yep.
I can't say that it's one fault over the other. Why would you raise your daughter, to be a good wife when, men, little boys are not being raised to be good husbands? It's like you're setting her up for, a fall. So, I mean, that's what it has evolved to. Is it right? Is it wrong? I can't even speak on that. That's the way that it's evolving, just to answer the question. So, yeah, I think that is true, Shar.
It gives me a good idea to look into that. I might do a stream on that. Should we need husband schools? I've been here talk about and throughout the internet. But I say I need to do a show specifically on that and see if we get some dudes on their take on it. I know
Well,
I know I'm gonna get some pushback for that because I'm saying you don't need to be no. Come on, man. We're in the 21st century now. I had a good friend. I had a good conversation with Mr. Black, and he's come out with a book about relationships and all that. And I might have to bring him on just for my
which
sake.
Mr. Black? The one with the neighborhood? Um,
hmm
that one, Mr. Black.
He's on my channel. I had him many times, Shari. The uploads I do. I have a picture.
Yeah, because I know there's a couple of Mr. Blacks. One is about
Oh no, my,
community.
my fault. Doctor Black. Sorry, I apologize. I gotta say, Doctor Black.
Okay, I'm not sure. I'm not sure who he is then.
All right, I'll put in the back chat. Give you a sample who he is.
All right, but you'll get a lot of pushback because they're gonna like, who needs that? And then it takes money for marriage. That's the other thing you have to consider. And shoot, a man finally get whatever it is he gets and get something for himself. He may look around like, no, I'll wait. And I wouldn't blame him. Hey, go ahead and do your thing. Wait for a little while and then settle down.
Well, the
Especially if
thing
you don't
is,
want children. And then we're going to introduce Jack. Go ahead, Ruby.
but
Let me
like life
introduce Jack.
costs money, right? In general. But here's the thing is that there's like over 1,400 legal benefits to marriage, many of which are actually financial. Obviously, yes, normally when we talk about the cost, we talk about the penalties of divorce, but we don't really often talk about the benefits and the savings that you can get by being married, mostly due to lack of knowledge. That's not very pervasive in our community. Even when people tend to get married, they just kind of get married to be married, to say they're married, but like as far as knowing how to then utilize that to benefit your finances, or your life in any way, we definitely aren't educated in that. So we don't really know how to use marriage to our benefits, even though we could, and other cultures definitely do, other races definitely do. And that's why as soon as they get divorced, no matter how expensive that divorce is, you see them getting married again, because there are definitive benefits to being married, more than just, oh, I'm not alone at night and I get his last name. Like there's more benefits than just that.
Yeah, that's it's official. It's acting slate one night.
Yeah, that'll be interesting, though. And I agree. And that kind of ties into the we as a people are not trained because we
Mm-hmm.
don't have that information. But
Mm-hmm.
let's welcome Jack to the panel. Time is ticking away. You know,
Mr.
Jack got
Spade.
something to say.
Hey, Jack.
What's up, everybody?
Hello.
Happy Friday, happy Saturday for some folks, depending on what part of the planet that you're on. What's up, everybody in the chat?
Whoop, whoop.
What's up?
We
What's
good.
up?
All right, let me turn my mic down. I think it is clipping here. All right, so I'm gonna be real quick. So, Classic Ruby, I got to disagree with you, baby. Got to disagree with you.
What else is new? No,
Well,
I'm
I
kidding.
was
What's
gonna
up?
say that.
All right, concerning this young lady here, and this pertains to a particular segment of women. If it's clipping, let me know. I'm trying to
Okay.
adjust it.
Okay.
You just have a certain breed of men and women, and what we're speaking of women here. They are just hard headed. They are wrapped up in their doggone ego and their pride, where they will subject themselves to some of the most craziest things. And we're talking about a man to try to hook a doggone man. Now, I'm not going to mention this young lady here, but you have some women, they will subject themselves to stuff like menage a trois, group sex, all kind of off the wall stuff in the belief that they're going to hook this one dude
that they've been with 2, 3, 4, 5 years, 6 years, no children involved, no marriage, but they're just so hell bent. I'm going to get this guy, him. I'm not concerned about any other guy that probably would treat me a heck of a lot better, but I'm going to make it my business to show everybody, including myself, that I can get that man right there. Then you have the ones that there's this one young lady I knew. This was from high school. She made it her business in high school. She says, "I'm going to marry a professional athlete." So she dated a first stringer that was in the pros. That didn't work out. She went to a second string. That didn't work out. She went to a third string. I ran into her, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago. Um, and she said, and she wanted to brag about this. She got a guy that was a professional athlete. Dude was in the minors. And we got into this little 2-second debate about what is a professional athlete. And she was correct. The dude was getting paid to play. I think the guy's playing baseball, but he's in the minor leagues. But he was a professional. Even though what she said in high school was not what she ended up settling with. So with this young lady here, I think this is one of those things. She was just hell bent on proving to herself, while at the same time trying to say to others that she was going to get this guy for whatever reason she wanted, and she was going to try to show him that she wasn't like everybody else, which is probably the reason why she didn't go with the route of the child and getting the child support, because it was like, I'm going to prove to him, to get him into my life, that I'm not like everybody else, so I can prove to myself that I can get this man. As convoluted and as crazy as it sounds, unfortunately, we got some folks who operate off that game plan.
That
And
is true.
and my thing about marriage, yes, marriage takes some money, but the biggest thing, how do I know? Because I was once married. The
Mhm.
biggest thing about a marriage is both parties got to be willing and aspiring to accomplish the short term and long term goals and uh, aspirations of the marriage and the child rearing. That right there is far more important than the money, because I know some marriages that both parties made some very good money, but the marriage was just a damn sham. It was chaotic. There was really no direction in it. So, like I said, you can have money, but you got to have some goals, you got to have some plans, and both parties got to be willing to pull their weight to make things happen, long term and short goal. And one more last thing. Um, my son's mother. This is way back in days. This is when Gilligan Island was in black and white. But we got into this thing about, she said, you don't know anything about a husband because you was raised in a single parent household. So I told her, you really don't know much about a damn husband because your mama shot and killed your father. So,
Oh
you know,
wow.
hey, that's what happened. So my argument with her was like, hey, let's just put in the best that we can. I have a general idea of what I need to do. Hopefully you got a general idea that you need what you need to do. Let's put our best foot forward for the best interest of ourselves. And she had her son, and then we had our son. And I believe if we put the best foot forward that we can make it. Doesn't matter if I was raised in a single parent house, female led single parent household, and your mother shot and killed your father. This is about us. It's not about what other people in our lives did or did not do. Yeah, I know that was long winded. I hate long winded damn stuff.
No, you don't.
Right?
You tell that to someone else, Mr. Spade. We are not having that over here. We are not having that over here.
I'm gonna block y'all too with this doggone Mr. Spade. I told y'all about that doggone it.
Jack is back, I tell you.
Hmm.
He's tickling me.
But I will say this, and here's the thing again. Normally, right, when women are trying to prove something, I mean, you kind of need to evaluate the individual to try to kind of put them into which categories might apply to them, right? So she's an influencer. Her net worth is 2 million, right? So wherever she came from, it seems like the thing that she was trying to prove was an individual one, right? Because she clearly invested a lot of time and energy into pulling herself into, you know, the top tiers of society, quote unquote, right? And to proving that she could be that hot and that popular and you know, get her own bag. Clearly, that's what she wanted to do. That's what she did. Um, you know, and that brought her into a different circle of men, and that circle of men included this one right here. And hey, maybe, I mean, really, at the end of it, maybe this could be there's a little bit of the zaddy influence in there somewhere. Or you know, maybe there was a little bit of some type of dream being sold to her behind the scenes. We don't know, right? But what I do know, right, is when I think of beautiful, highly desirable young women who tend to give too many years to the wrong guy, they're normally, when they're doing that, there is some type of, normally financial, normally, you know, some type of either protection or provision thing that's being given to them that they are using to convince themselves that this is worth it, or that, because basically it's like they can shove it in their friend's face, but like, oh yeah, but did your man take you to Dubai 5 times this year? Because mine did. Or you know, whatever, they're using some type of the lavish luxury lifestyle, right, rubbing in their friends' faces. Well, your man don't do that for you. Who cares if he rubs your feet at night? Look at what my man buys me, right? There has to be some kind of trade-off somewhere, right? Or even if it was the monogamousness, and that's why we thought, okay, well, maybe that might be it, because maybe her rich friends, yeah, but your man cheats on you all the time. My man don't cheat on me. Like, there has to be something that a woman is using to hold over her friends' heads, like, ha, look how much better I am, or my life is, or my man is in comparison to yours. That's really what drives women when they do stuff like that. So a man who's making you pay 50% of all the bills, who clearly was publicized for being horrible with money and almost bankrupting himself, a man who literally is not even having a net worth of 1 year of his contracts in the last 9 years. You know, when you look at all of these things, it's like, and then he's not even willing to spend like a dime on you. He's not willing to cover nothing for you. He's not willing to buy you nothing. He's not willing to pay for anything. Everything that you experience, you might as well be alone because you're paying for it. So there's not a benefit there that a woman is really holding over other women's heads, which is why I'm going to keep going back to, she's there for love. Because women will do all kinds of very stupid, even self-defeating things because they are in love with a man. That's the only thing that really, really makes sense to me. Oh damn! What, y'all just left me here by myself? That's what it is. That's what we doing now. Okay.
No,
Well.
I didn't leave you, Ruby. No, I didn't leave you. I muted up because I was talking to one of these kids.
I was gonna say do some extra stuff too. I was like, all right, then. Y'all want to leave me here? Y'all don't know who you left here. No.
Ruby, it's Ruby. No, but you know what? And it's so funny, you know, because I'm just looking at the dichotomy here on this panel. You know, the women, you know, although we don't completely agree, we tend to think, you know, that, you know, she was in this for love. She wasn't in it for any financial gain, because like I said, if she was in it for financial gain, she went way wrong with it, you know. So I do feel that she loved this man, and you know, the cheating was the end of it for her. It was like, you know, I'm already paying my way. It's not even like you take care of me, and then on top of that, you're going to cheat on me. Okay.
Right.
Let me not waste any more of my years, or any more of the years of my womb. You know, I have so many more years to be having children, and I want to be married, you know, and having kids. You know, she wasn't reckless with this man. You know, there's no babies between them, you know, outside of a marriage. You know,
Right.
she moved in with him, and you know what? Like I said, these are learning, you know, lessons for her. because maybe she'll learn, well, then maybe you shouldn't have moved in with him. You should have required more of him. You should have, maybe raised your standards. And she didn't. And this is what she got. And and he still wanted to be with her, according to what you say, Ruby, she could still be going through this for the next 10, 15 years.
Yep.
Why would she do that? So she's leaving, I think, at a great time. And from what I can see, I don't hear any bitterness. The only thing that makes it sound bitter is that story that, oh, he was too cheap, so I had to leave. That type of thing, because 50-50 is thrown around in the BC, all the time. So that's a topic. But she's saying, hey, that wasn't it. So, and that's that. So I mean, it's great, great conversation. Great conversation. Now, the men, on the other hand, Chaos, Mr. Spade, and others in the chat, oh, well, she was going for this athlete, and she was trying to get him, and she was trying to reel him in, and now she's got mud in her face, or whatever. And it's like, okay, yeah, it's possible that could be it. I mean, either way, I mean, yeah, she does have mud in her face, but I'm just saying, there doesn't necessarily have to be a bad guy or a good guy. This is two adults who went into a relationship, and they both had different end goals. His end goal was not to be married to her. His end goal was to get 50-50 and coochie, for however long. And, and she was loyal to him. You don't hear about anything about her not being loyal, because if that were the case, it would be splattered like, oh, well, then she got what she deserved because she wasn't loyal to him anyway. So we're going to assume that she was loyal to him, So, okay. So where do you go from there? It's like they're okay. He's not mad at her. She's not mad at him. Hopefully he learned that he needs to treat women better. She learned that, hey, I need to raise my standards when I'm dealing with the dude, and I'm, spending these years with this man. So, yeah, I won't be doing that again. I won't be moving in with anybody, with my bank account, paying 50-50, because I can be by myself and do this and be fine. It wasn't like she was struggling and she couldn't pay her rent or whatever it was where she was. That wasn't an issue. But she wanted to be with this man. She wanted to be with this man.
That's what I would think.
And she walked away at a great time. I think she walked away at a perfect time.
I also think people don't really consider, when you're living together, that if the stuff is in the person's name, in the other person's name, you're not building any credit at all. So if you walk away and said, okay, let me get me a place, you don't have any references as far as you pay your light bill, phone bill, and all them bills on time, then they're asking for deposits, and they hold those for about a year. And that's something to take in consideration. I know a lot of people don't, but I do, because I don't have much, so I'm looking at it.
Sorry, it's crazy. They run credit checks. They want you making 3 times, your income, your monthly income. In some places, I've heard it's more in other places. So, in this day and age, it's crazy, because I can remember, back in the day, an 18-year-old can go and rent an apartment for $400, a great, 1-bedroom apartment. That same apartment is, probably $2,400 now. And not only is it that, they're going to want the whole kit and caboodle from you, work history, background check, a lot. They do all of that. And it's like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. And if I'm not, looking to see, if I'm not looking to be your wife, there's no sense me doing that unless I'm a kid in high school, well, not out of high school, in college, roommating with you. But again, as I said, well, there's no sex involved, because I'm not going to be doing wifely duties, and I'm just your girlfriend. And
why give up my security to go over there and it may not work, and then I have to go through that barrage of scrutiny, just to get an apartment.
Can you pay half my bills? Can you pay half my telephone bill? That's not a song. It's all the bill, not half of it.
Right. And the thing is, I noticed, I don't know how much of y'all actually heard, because I have no idea when it cut off. I just figured out eventually. I was talking to myself. And so I came back. But, So she went to Pepperdine University, got her degree in broadcast journalism, right? So this is not just some girl who was like, I feel like thinking, and oh, maybe I could be an influencer, and then that was it. No, no, no. She had a goal in life, and then she pursued it. She got her degree, her bachelor's degree in it, and then she actually started pursuing that. And so, she does on what's it called, on camera host for Hot New Hip Hop as a street interviewer. She started a brand, Strong as Sexy, for health and wellness. She's also brand ambassador for Savage X Fenty by Rihanna. We know that that's a slightly more limited brand. So I mean, to me, she really pursued an actual dream and a career, and was building that on her own. And even though she started dating this guy, she clearly was still trying to build something. And when he said, yeah, 50-50, because I'm she like that, she said, okay, well, but I can see us doing something in the future. I'll invest in you, babe. And so I'm like, people are looking at this like, is she just another Insta thought? She's just another one of these girls who just wants to be an influencer. She probably just has an OnlyFans. Ugh. And that's not actually what she is. I'm like, everyone said OnlyFans. I'm like, I can't see any evidence that she's just some OnlyFans girl. She actually has a job. Like she's actually doing something.
Oh, it's a nice picture of her.
So she's beautiful.
Absolutely.
Yep. But see, that's the thing though, right? Like the OnlyFans girl, right? Like lots of people have an OnlyFans, right? But the OnlyFans girl is the girl, she doesn't have a job. Okay. What she does have though is a bunch of porn on OnlyFans. And then people pay her to basically stroke their wet dreams. And that is her job. Right. And then her job is to be nice to you in the DMs, and then you pay her. And that's her job. Like that's this girl may not have OnlyFans. She may or may not even have done some porn in her OnlyFans. I don't know. Because again, OnlyFans is not just for porn. I don't know if people know that or not.
Girl,
But
you don't even need all that. All you need is a nice avatar with some side boob. You make a killing on YouTube.
True.
Just saying.
True. Right? But I'm like, even though she was beautiful and young, even though she could have rested on just that beauty and just sold it, this day and age is very easy to do. No, she invested in her education to pursue the things she wanted to do. She went and actually got an on-camera job, not just being an influencer, but she actually went and got a job outside of that, interviewing on red carpets, fashion week, whatever. Like, but like, it's like we always dismiss these women. If you're dating some sports star, then we just dismiss you as some little insta thought who was trying to get the bag, and haha, you got screwed. Like, that's not everyone who dates the sports people. Like, I don't know why we like dismiss women just because they happen to be dating some guy who makes a lot of money or is a sports star or whatever, like I feel like we make the conversation too simple when it's not always some case of some insta thought got caught, didn't get her bag now. Like, there's still people. Do you know that?
It's mostly negative, so they, I guess, attach it to everyone. That's probably what it is.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say mostly though. Like most of what we hear about, right? The loud minority is this negative, get the bag lifestyle and whatever. But I would say probably the larger majority are people who, even in like the rap game and stuff, we got a lot of people who are just happily married for 27 years, going about their business, raising their kids. And you just don't ever hear about them or see them in the media because they're not interesting, right? We only hear about Future and his next baby mama, but like we don't hear about LL Cool J and his wife of damn near 30 years, right? We never hear about them. No one cares about them. We want to hear about Future's next baby mama, or who did Nick Cannon get pregnant?
His children.
Right?
Yeah,
how
many have some more coming up.
That's what I hear. It's like, dude.
Mental illness is something else, I tell you.
Yeah.
Nothing I can do about that. Did you have any last words, Jack Spade?
Yes, I do. 3 quick points.
Go ahead.
First one, this is a short one. That photo that you're showing up here, man, that is an amateurish one light shot. How do I know that? Because it's a work of amateurs. One light to camera left to fill in her right cheek, a backlight to separate her hair from the background, that's how you're supposed to do it. But what do I know? I've only been doing photography for 20 years. I don't know what I'm talking about. Number two, love brings value to your internal soul, and you can see its tangibles. Lust just validates your ego and dysfunctions. This goes back to my divorce, my marriage. People are amazed when I say if I could turn back the hands of time, I would remarry my wife, knowing that it would turn into a divorce, because during the 5.5 years, maybe 6 years of the marriage, because we were married 7 years, everything was perfect. Everything was, when I say perfect, it wasn't like perfect, but hey, it's what I wanted. I could see the tangibles, the creation that I was making for myself, for her, what value she was bringing to me, what value I was bringing to her, how it was a positive impact on my son. And I filed for the divorce because to me, it just didn't make any sense that, hey, we've got all of these great things going on. That's a plus. That long term and short term, that you'll be silly enough to make it go left for no damn reason at all. So that is the reason why I can honestly say, if I could turn back the hands of time, I would do it all over again, and I would actually file the divorce again, right where I filed it at, because I understand. I experienced love. I experienced a constructive marriage, but I also was sensible enough to know enough is enough, and it's no longer worth the labor of the investment. And that's my last point. I kept it down to under 2 minutes. God dog it, I'm done.
Yes, I
Congratulations.
want to commend you. Yes,
Well,
absolutely.
thanks for sharing that. I haven't heard many people say that because in just that 2 minute or less, you explained what you experienced, you enjoyed it, you saw when it was necessary to end it, but you would do it all again with that same person because she was who she was for you in your life. So thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah, because I don't need to kiss people's ass to get subs. That's the reason why.
Oh,
True
uh-oh,
facts.
uh-oh, uh-oh. All right, I'll leave that alone. Yeah, but it's near the end of the show, and look like Mella won't make it back. So, anything else, Vonda, Classic
Well,
Ruby?
I think this was a great discussion, and you know what? Everyone made some great points, and I'm just glad that we were able to have an open discussion and nobody get all crazy with it. Because to be honest, none of us really agreed. I don't think any one of us really
Mhm.
agreed. But that's what I'm saying. Like you're gonna find someone that would deal with each and every one of us and our standards that we have.
Yeah.
You know, and in looking at people and their different standards, it makes you kind of look at yourself, be like, oh, I would never do that, or you know what, that I can see why she did that. And you kind of learn things about yourself. That's why I like these discussions, and I think that a lot of the discussion should be used in that way. you know but okay, thanks for having me, Shar and Ruby.
I thank you, Vonda, for appreciating that. A lot of
Mhm.
people, they don't want that. Well, they say they want it, and then when you have it, they're nowhere around. They're somewhere in a circle jerk. So, but I do
No.
thank you and value your time.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Always. Always. Well, I'll say this. I talked about this book forever ago, back when I did my whole little like 10 video run on my channel back when I first started, and then I gave up. But I talked about this book called The 100 Zero Principle. And so, for those people who don't understand where I'm necessarily coming from, they're like, no, I basically treat my boyfriend from day one like I'm his wife, and they think I'm crazy. Well, I suggest look for this book. It's called The 100 Zero Principle. And basically, what it says is, well, you invest 100%. What a lot of people do is they end up getting burned really badly after they gave too much, ignored too many red flags, and they get screwed over. And then you know what? They say, nope, never again. Right. And then that's when you start getting into the game playing and the shit testing, and you got to prove something to me before I ever do this, and da da da. And then, you know, to me, that just stalls out relationships, stalls out any type of growth and whatever. 100 principle says no. No matter what relationship it is, dating, family, friends, whatever, you give 100%, and then and you expect nothing in return. But here's the caveat. That doesn't mean that you just keep giving 100% to someone who just keeps taking 100% and giving nothing in return. Observe people's behavior. Let them see that you're willing to give that 100% because that's how you are. You invest fully. If you realize they're not willing to do the same, you disconnect that relationship. You move on to another person. You don't waste time and energy and let people use you so they can burn you and da da da. But don't let, that kind of stuff change you. And so, I hope for this woman or for anyone who's in a similar situation, like, dude, invest 100%. Try to meet people where they're at and da 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 da. But, don't let it stretch on to the point where they're stepping all over you and using you and playing you for a fool, and you're trying to prove something. Like, dude, you give your little 100%. And then if you realize, hey, it's not being reciprocated, man, retract that and then save it for someone who deserves it. It is what it is.
That's right.
Hmm.
No, I know how to do that, Don Teasy.
Oh gosh, yes. We
Thank
all
you.
know.
I want to thank you all for tuning in tonight. Tomorrow we will not have a article reaction, but the following Saturday we will. So enjoy your long weekend and watch a replay or something that you might have missed. And you'll still be in our hearts and we'll be in yours.
Yeah.
Stay cool for those that have that hot weather because we did have some storms and some darn hot weather. Ooh, it was something else. Um, we got Father's Day coming up. If you are a father, happy Father Day. And if
Mhm.
you are not, well, can't afford it, wrap it up.
Hmm.
And
Mm.
until we meet again, stay safe and peace.
Cheers, y'all.
Peace out, family.